Shalom, you homies. I'm here to spit more truths about lies. So this morning I made a video titled The Truth About the Lie That Is Money, the Crumbling Matrix, the New World Order, and the Great Reset. And in that video, I talked about how money is a lie that we use to support the lie that is this matrix we're living in. And this matrix is a lie that is a construct of the egregore of all of our egos. Some of us call that egregore Satan, the father of lies. The father of lies is just us serving our egos. Okay? So this matrix, the rulers and principalities of this matrix, have every incentive to get you identified with the lie that is your ego so that you will serve the lie that is the matrix. Right? And the rulers and principalities, having an understanding of psychology and biology, understand that when the body is threatened and under attack, the brain, a physical organ in the body, will create certain shortcuts and neural pathways that will act defensively and reactively to future stimuli, which reminds it of whatever happened whenever it was threatened. Right? Triggers. So this is how we're programmed. We are deliberately traumatized in order to create triggers. And then anytime the matrix, the rulers and principalities of this world, want to steer us all in a certain direction, they pull that trigger by creating a manufactured crisis, which reminds us of the past trauma. Okay, this is related to MK Ultra. I won't go into that, but look it up. MK Ultra was a thing, an experiment that was done on Americans in the 60s and 70s using LSD and torture techniques to create splits within people's psyches in order to create triggers and control them. Based off of that experimentation, all of the data that was collected is now used on the American populace daily. To different degrees, we are all being controlled by MK Ultra through television, through media, through music, through collective manufactured crises and wars that create wounds in us, traumatize us, and get us in a fear state, take us down into our lower levels of consciousness, cut us off from the heart, cut us off from intuition, cut us off from God, have us going through life reacting to everything rather than consciously responding. This is how we're controlled. This is how we have all come to identify with the ego and serve a lie. Now, the ego has no free will, right? Because like I said, the ego is a construct of the brain. The brain is material. It's of the flesh. Now, Jesus Christ, the whole message of Jesus Christ was about how to die to the ego. That's what dying to the flesh was. Dying to your identification with this vessel, dying to the flesh, obliterating all of the neural pathways that keep you enslaved to the flesh and the body and the ego, that make you a slave to this matrix that is a construct of the ego. This is what Christ came to do, to break us free of those bonds, to teach us how to die to the ego, be reborn in spirit, raise our consciousness up to the higher levels, to the heart, to the intuition, to God consciousness, to find freedom. That's a threat to a world that needs slaves. That's why he was murdered. That's why still to this day, whistleblowers and truth tellers are murdered or silenced or drugged or institutionalized. Anyone who is lauded by this matrix, funded, put on a pedestal, put on TV, on all the major news networks, question that person. Because if the lie likes them, it's because that person has a message that serves and supports the lie. Okay? Anyone who's being demonized constantly, maybe look into what they're saying, because there's probably some truth there, some inconvenient truths. And one thing that's really inconvenient and sad is that the most successful people in this world who have been told that they're so bright and wonderful by the system, they're actually some of the most dumbed down, brainwashed sheeple. Okay. They're patted on the head for being able to follow instructions, follow authority without asking questions. That's what the Matrix wants from us. And it'll reward you for doing that with money that you can use to feed your ego. Okay? So, most of our really popular, like, professors, most lauded intellectuals, scientists, politicians, okay, all of these people that have the most power and are the most applauded are some of the most damaged people psychologically. They've been broken and wounded by the system so badly, and they've become so identified with their ego that they can be easily controlled. So if you feel like you don't fit in, if you have been attacked, if you have been called crazy, if you've never had ambition to serve this, and you feel confused as to why other people are wanting to serve this matrix, and are so in love with this world, if that confuses you, that's a really good sign. Right? But if you want to be a free person, if you truly want to have free will, then you have to disidentify with the ego. You have to die to the flesh and be reborn in the spirit and come up here to the higher levels where you can talk to God, because God is freedom. If you're not talking to God, you're talking to your ego, and the ego is a slave to this world that is a lie. Robert Sapolsky is a lauded intellectual that teaches at Harvard, and he has been on all the circuits the last couple of years, all the most popular podcasts and TV shows and news channels, promoting his book on, I don't know the name of it, but it's all about how, we don't have free will. Free will is not a thing. Well, the system wants you to think that, which is why this man is being funded and promoted. Because if you already believe you don't have free will, then you'll just go along. You're more likely just to go along with whatever you're told to do, right? You're more likely to take a brain chip, a computer chip, if you already believe that, you're already, like, they're pushing this idea also that we're in a simulation, that none of this is real, and also that there's no free will. So it just kind of allows you to give up a little bit easier, right? When you think, well, I don't have any control over this anyway. That's what they want you to think. So that's why this man's message is being supported. But his whole thing, his line of reasoning for saying this, is that he actually is an atheist. He's a materialist. He believes that consciousness is a product of the brain, right? So what he says is, like, from the day you're born, your brain is wired by the people around you, by the things you see, by the things you encounter. All of these things shape your neural networks, which make it so that you are going to respond in a certain way no matter what. That you have the illusion of making a choice, but your brain is making the choice, right? And then you're just catching up to it, thinking you made the choice. Well, yeah, if you don't believe in God, then you would believe that. Okay? Now, if you are being run by your brain, by your ego, you don't have free will. Okay, but that's not all there is. Okay, it would be like saying, like pianos that you can program, you can play a song on it and record it, and then the piano will play it itself if you just hit one button and it just plays. Okay, that's kind of how the brain is. Like, you can practice something over and over again and wire it in your brain so then you don't have to think about it. It plays automatically, like tying your shoes, right? You don't have to think about it. You just have like a neural pathway in your brain that's already, like, all you have to think is, okay, tie my shoe, and then the body does it because it's programmed in a neural pathway. A trauma creates a neural pathway like that without you having to practice it. Okay, so Sapolsky is saying that's all you are. You're just a collection of reactions and programs and traumas. You are the flesh, you are the body. Okay, so just go ahead and be a happy little slave, in other words. But that's not true. Okay, so because there's always something that programs the piano first. You have to play the song first. There's an awareness and a consciousness programming the piano. Okay, it's like a driverless car. We have cars like Teslas now that you can get in, and the car will drive you wherever you want to go. First, you have to program the car. You have to put in where it is that you want to go, right? You have to get in the car. Now, you're giving over your consciousness, your decisions to the car, but you chose to do that. So, what I'm saying is, you absolutely have free will, and that's your key to freedom if you choose it. But you don't have to choose to use your free will. You can choose to be reactive. You can choose to be unconscious. You can choose to operate down here and to be a happy slave of the matrix. You'll be rewarded by the matrix. And the way that it will reward you is by driving you lower and lower and lower and deeper and deeper and deeper into your own base desires until you're a depraved animal doing evil, despicable things and loving it. That's where that path leads. And that's what's coming. Because this world is run by evil, depraved entities and individuals who've given themselves over. They've been given over to their most base desires. And they want you to come along for the ride because misery loves company. Right? They feed off of misery. And that's ungodly. We want to be in love and light. We want to be with God in the kingdom. And the only way to get there is to die to the ego, die to the flesh, to become reborn in the spirit, and break free of the matrix. And you can do it.